Alright, good morning. It's John McLaughlin here. It's a cool one this morning, so we've got the trading hat on. It's Crossfire at 6 AM and we've got Euro odd, Euro NZD, GBP odd and GBP NZD on the charts. So let's go and get these indicators on as quickly as we can. Just make sure on the 15-minute as well. 50 on that one. Euro NZD. GBP odd. We'll get these on and we'll go and have a look and see what's happened. So, just while I'm doing this, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe just down there, and if you get some value, give us a thumbs up, appreciate that. And if you want some more information about how to do this strategy and why I'm putting these lines on, go to the card up there and I'll give you the free mini course. I've got a free mini course about this as well, all for free. Right, imbalance. I'm going to take this imbalance off because that's been mitigated. We've got, what have we got in terms of imbalance on the chart? A lot of imbalance there. What time was this? This was 13:45. To this yeah, that's been mitigated. See that big peak up there. Right, so that was about it for the imbalance. Euro NZD, that was 17 already. That's what I'll do. I'll just go and put the lines on. Magnet tool on. Two-minute time frame. Magnets all off, indicators back on. Okay. So looking for the high, which is this one. Down top of the wick. 2 minute time frame, and there we go. GBP AUD high is there. Alright, the higher high is, put it on there, and then the low is the one next to it. There we go. Right. So euro odd, we're currently below the red trend line. We've still got the P side to flip. We're still in a wave up, so we're still waiting for this one to do its thing. Euro NZD, similar situation. We're below the trend line. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do as well, go and check the news. My FX book, where are you? There you go. Seven o'clock, we've got high impact on the euro. Got lots of euro news. It's a euro day today. Okay. So price going down. We're currently still in a wave up. Order ITAR has no volume. The PCR's flipped. We're currently on the pivot line, so we're just waiting for that area of resistance to break through. If it does, then we'll consider any trades going down, but we're still in a wave up, so we're still waiting for that. Similar situation with this one, pound Australian, and this is kind of in the middle of nowhere. This is still in resistance for the red trend line. We're currently on the wave. We're still everything's still in the wave up yet. We can see the overall trend. Sideways, really. Right, let's go and put some imbalance on. Must be mitigated that bit. Okay, fair enough. GBP AUD, let's put this one back on 2 minutes. So this imbalance has been taken out. Okay. That's about it. Okay, that's it for imbalance. So, euro odd, what have we got there? Nothing really, just waiting to do its thing. Euro NZD, still making its mind up on this red trend line. GBP odd, same thing, and yeah, we're just waiting. It's a waiting game, and sometimes what you find is you can get on the charts 6 AM, put all your indicators on, and nothing really will happen. Sometimes until 7 o'clock, sometimes until 8 o'clock. So we've either got to be patient, or we've got to put our indicators on until such time anything activates in our favour. If you look at the Wadarata, at a bit of a push here. I mean, really, again, same. Look at the volume. No volume, little bit of a spurt, right? Little bit of a volume, little bit of a spurt. Nothing really much. So certainly we're finding this week that there's very little volume until around 8 o'clock. And there are a lot of people who trade this time, close of the Asian, open of the London European, and they don't bother until 8 o'clock. They say, no, I'm going to wait until 8 or 7. Look at that, almost identical, aren't they? No, they're the same, almost the same, almost the same, almost the same. It's the same patterns. Which tells me that, you know, when we do get a good setup, they'll all happen at the same time. And then best practice, as you know, take 2 opposing pairs. So if one comes in and one fails, then you get your 1%. If you're doing a 2-to-1 ratio, so you're going to win. Okay. If you take 2 of the same pairs and it loses, you just compound your losses if it loses. You're still compounding your wins if it wins, but just again, best practice when you're first learning is just to go in for opposing pairs. So we've got the price coming above the green trend line. Which is what we want actually. We want the price to go above the green trend line for potential buys and below the red trend line for potential sells. So what's this scenario telling us? Okay, well, first of all, we're in a wave up. We've got the PSAR is green, now it's gone red. So we're waiting for the PSAR to flip. We've got the 200 moving average there, which means price going to bounce or break, and also price can bounce or break off the red trend line. Well, what we've found over the last few days is that price sometimes, we get this brush tool, it goes like this. It goes up and it comes down, and it goes up and it comes down, and it can do that sometimes, and then retrace, and then sometimes push through. Okay, so it doesn't really matter too much if it does that, because at least it's going in the right direction. And if we can look at it, and if we can get a 1-to-2 ratio, then we're okay. So we'd look at that at the time, but okay. So if if we looked at this, then we've got to go and look left and go, okay, where did price previously go to? Well, it went to there, okay, but that is in conjunction with the 200 moving average, okay, as is kind of this area here. Then we've got this big push, okay, and we've got imbalance up here. Well, we kind of we didn't on the 15-minute, but essentially you got to say, well, okay, is price from here going to want to mitigate some of this price up here? And potentially it might do. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, as the PSAR's flipped, and the PSAR's actually flipped quite a distance away from the candle, even though the candle's now going red, which is generally what happens. You get the PSAR flip, you get excited, and then suddenly it goes the wrong colour. So here we go. So it's going to find resistance at the 200 moving average. And any of these lines, any of these areas of interest, price can either bounce or break. Okay, and let me just adjust my chair. That's it. So price will either bounce or break, and we don't know which is going to be. We don't know which is going to happen. Oh, that's getting warm. So we just sit and watch and react accordingly. So Euro AUD is, yeah, that's doing nothing. GBP is doing a similar move, almost trying a similar move. This one's nowhere. Okay, so let's go back and have a look at this. So see how it's coming past. Okay, so it wants to push past, trying to get past that. Just to check, our first lot of news is 7, so half an hour. So as it's trying to push past the 200 moving average, it's still in a resistance area. So we've got what's that? 5 or 6 seconds left on his time frame. So ideally, what we want is a new candle to form over there, push up, which is what it's done. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's go long. Now, there's our engulfing candle, and this is where our straightforward Forex indicator would say you want to put your stop loss, okay, or suggesting areas for a stop loss. And if we take this up there, what we're looking for is a 1 to 2 risk to reward. Which is there. Okay, so then if you look left, what have we got? So we've got currently right now, we've got this high here, we've got this high here. If we take it up to, potentially this could, I mean, you've got, see that there is going to be a resistance area, okay, this here is going to be a resistance area, okay, but to what degree? It's not looking too bad. Let's just see what happens on that. In fact, it's still in resistance because it's come back through to the moving average. So even though it broke free, it's come back down again. So you might be well just waiting to see how far this goes up. So maybe a candle or two just to wait until it gets into a proper support area. So if we'd done this, would have been drawdown by now. I think because we just got in a bit too early. And the Wadarata See, it gave us a bit of a boost here, okay, but the explosion line was, yeah, it was moving away, and then it obviously came straight back down. So what we want is the histogram to be showing us some nice strength. This isn't too bad, okay. So the histogram is above the explosion line, and the explosion line is moving away from the dead zone, and ideally that's what we're looking for as the overall setup. So this isn't particularly great, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, Euro NZD. Yeah, it's all quite congested. So we've got the red trend line here, we've got price moving down, but we're in a wave up. We've got the peso is the wrong colour, the Wadarata is showing no volume, and the candle is the wrong colour. So that's that. Similar situation to Euro odd, still in resistance on the 200 moving average. So we're going to wait for that to do its thing. And GU, same thing as sorry, not EU, Euro NZD. It's doing the same thing as Euro NZD, congested. Yeah, it's a slow out start, and sometimes you can just tell if there's not really a lot of volume going on, and if there's no real volume going on, then it's going to keep you out of trades like this, when nothing really happens. Then suddenly you get 7 o'clock. I mean, something will happen at 7 o'clock because we've got all this Euro news. Okay, so we need to be fairly mindful of, in fact, yeah, 7 o'clock high impact news on the Euro. Then 7:45 Euro news, then 8 o'clock Euro news. So we're going to see some decent movement on that. Look at the water look. With this push, what time did this push come in? 5:54, and it wasn't even a push. I mean, it was just a 12 pips from where price kind of went down to up to that trend line. But other than that, nothing really major on there. Euro NZD, yeah. GA, we're still in resistance, still resisting against the 200 moving average, and it's still doing the same thing. So if you ever find that you've got a price where it's just straddling your area of interest, which is currently it's our 200 moving average, if it's still in resistance, and you don't want to be going into any trades because it needs to push past, give us some clear air and then move up or move down wherever it's going to go, but it needs to be away from that area. And same there, it's just again congestion, consolidation, just leave it to its thing. So there, look, still congested, still in resistance, still trying to push through, but it hasn't as yet. NZD. I mean, we can keep going through them, but there's nothing really going to happen until 7 o'clock. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause this. We're going to wait until 7 o'clock or some area of interest where something happens, because you know what, if you're watching this on replay, it's going to be boring as hell doing this. Alright, so I'll come back in a second. Okay, here we are. We've got Euro NZD, and the Euro NZD is just starting to move to the downside. It's moved past the pivot, it's moved past the 200 moving average. However, we are quite close to the news, so we're going to be mindful of that fact, and it's high impact news on the euro. So I'm going to wait until after the news. So currently 6:48, and that's 12 minutes, or just less than 12 minutes to the news. In relation to euro odd, we got into this too early because it was still in resistance on the 200 moving average. So that's come down to the downside, and if we were in this, would have been stopped out. So again, it's just a good lesson really, just to say wait. Okay, even though price went above and did give us a bit of a gap, it was still in resistance because it came back down again. Okay, so again, just a good lesson there. And also, if you look at the Wadarata, there really wasn't a lot of volume in there either. So again, just be patient. So Euro NZD again starting to come down in relation to the moving averages. Just make this a bit bigger so we can see it. So we've got the 5, then we've got the 200. In fact, we're starting to get the crossover. Okay, so that's looking a bit more encouraging for what we want. Now, if the news wasn't there, so what you want is the moving averages in order and pointing in the direction of the trade. So currently they're pointing down. So we've got the 5. We've just got the crossover. It looks like. No, we'll just wait for that to do its things. They can't really make it out, but we want them. We want them in order. If we were to go on a sell with this, okay, again, considerations, we'd go to the short, we'd go to where price is right now, and we'd look at, first of all, the first engulfing candle is 5.1 pips, but areas of slightly more significance is this pivot line. Okay, so you've got the pivot and you've got this engulfing, and you've got that little magic number which is getting near to the 7 pip stop loss, which is pretty much ideal for this scenario. We pull it down to 1 to 2, just there. Okay, that gives us a bit more. Well, that gives us the 1 to 2 ratio. So what we'll do, we'll look left and we'll go, okay, where did price previously come to? So we're currently, this area here is a previous low. So price will end up resisting around this area, okay? Then potentially this area, but it might just well be the same for that area there. And this area here. So these are areas of interest, okay, where price will resist, okay? And you've got to look at price action overall to find out what may well happen, okay? And then you've got this area here. Okay, and then a big push down. Obviously this was the open of the session very early on this morning, sorry, last night, and price it came all the way back down. So what we've got to look at is there enough in the trade for it to come down to the area there. Okay, so potentially, but again, we've got the news coming up at 7 o'clock. So again, I wouldn't necessarily be in this because it's high impact news, and it's less than 7 minutes away. Unless you know what you're doing, unless you've got a real confidence in what you're doing, you never know what's going to happen when the news kicks in. And like I said yesterday, if you're on the session yesterday, you saw the fact that it was potentially, it wanted to go for a buy, okay, but before it went for a buy, it just went down and took everyone's stop losses out and then went for the buy, okay, because that's what you're up against. And if you know what you're up against, that's fine. You can plan for it, and you can learn how trading works and be the casino owner instead of the casino player inside the casino losing his money. Okay, so let's have a look through. So yeah, they're all starting to go slightly bearish. News is here, so we're going to wait for that to kick in. And what you can sometimes find before news kicks in is that you'll end up with this push down, and then a lot of retail traders will maybe get in it. Okay, they'll put stop losses up here. Okay, and it will push down, then it will push up. Okay, take out those stop losses and then push it down again. Okay, and there's nothing you can do about that because the price will move in an instant. You know, the banks have got billions and billions and billions to throw at this, and they've also got billions of dollars where they can just put cash in to manipulate the markets and leave it in. Okay, and that's what causes the imbalance. So we've got imbalance up here. Yeah, look at this. See this imbalance. You know, what are we talking about in terms of a move? 16. Let's call it 16 pips. Okay, and you've got to remember it takes around $10 million to move 1 pip. Okay, so you can imagine what's in that move, and that's money that's been left on the table. So at some point they've got to come back and collect it. You know, with these markets, you're not looking at billions, you're looking at trillions, and the turnover of liquidity on the forex markets is around. You can give it round figures. Some people say 5.5, some people say 6.6, but if you look at $6 trillion every single day is turned over on these markets, it's just insane. Insane. Look at that. Talk about consolidation. So we're in a wave up. Not as it really matters because there's no volume on the WAD hour whatsoever. It's just remained in the dead zone since we started the session. So nothing happening there. So that's GBP NZD. We'll come back to that. Okay, so let's see. Price has started to turn. Okay, we're on the trend line here, but it's currently, this price is in resistance for the sell, for the buy. We'll see what happens at the news. And there you go. Look, it's starting to turn around. So 2.5 minutes for the news, 3 minutes for the news. So what you'll find here is you'll see that this pivot will be an area of resistance, but how much resistance we don't know, because we don't know what's happening prior to the news kicking in, because what we've got now, we've got some manipulation going on before the news. And this is why you just want to stay out of news, because you just don't know what's going to happen. The markets react unpredictably because the banks are working things in their favour, and the banks know exactly where everyone's stop loss is, because you've got to put your orders through them, and your broker is just a facilitator between you and the bank. Right, let's have a look round. So these two, I mean GBP AUD and GBP NZD, are just in consolidation. You probably see maybe a bit of a something at 7 o'clock when the news kicks in, but other than that, there's certainly nothing that we're going to be getting excited about. The same thing happened yesterday, we're looking at different trades and showing you where to take stop losses. But it was so, because you've got so little volume, the price can fluctuate. And then suddenly we had 8 o'clock and we had some nice positive moves at 8 o'clock. And sometimes you find that. Sometimes you find, you know, you're in a routine where sometimes routinely you can get trades just after 6, sometimes you get trades just after 7, and sometimes you get trades, you know, after sort of 8 o'clock. And that can be great. What you don't want to be doing is getting yourself in a fixed routine. You know, sometimes you can get consistent trades, say at 6:15, and you go, okay, I'm in and out of the trade, and you can promote on your social media and you can say, look, I was in the trade for 10 minutes, I did my targets, and then the next day you're waiting and you go, oh, what's happened here? And it can make you feel a bit insecure about why you've broken, or why is the market broken that routine, and it happens. So you just got to be mindful and go, no, this is okay. So here we've got the news. You've got to be mindful of it, and sometimes if you're in a routine where you're looking at your watch going, well, you know, my trade hasn't activated yet and I've got to go to work, what shall I do? Okay, well, you can monitor it on your phone, but if you're not 100% sure about what's going to happen, stay out of the trade. There's nothing wrong with that, because there's nothing worse than driving to work and suddenly you've hit stop loss, you know, and you get to work and you're going to have a miserable day and you're going to think, I'm a rubbish trader and why am I doing this, and I just stick to what I'm good at. This is what people do, this is what people think. But you know, the trading is a skill that is developed over time, and it'll test you. It'll test you in all directions. It'll challenge your beliefs of life. It'll challenge your values. It'll challenge everything. It'll take your insecurities, it'll pull them out of you, and it'll hold them up in front of you and go, look, this is you. Okay, because the market is so just pure logic, and it doesn't care about your emotions or feelings. So you'll go through all sorts of different challenges on your trading journey, but in some ways it can be the best personal development tool going. Right, so what have we got? GBP odd. Is still just skipping down the road without a care in the world. Nothing really happening. You can see how price is respective of 200. That's interesting there. But yeah, nothing. Consolidation. Pretty much consolidation as well on GN. Respecting the 60. No, sorry, this is our trend line. So respecting our trend line, and again, when you see price respecting a trend line like that, it gives you additional confidence that, you know, the strategy is good, and also you put those trend lines in the right place. Not as though you can really put them in the wrong place, but again, it just gives you that additional confidence. So right now you can see there's the 200. Okay, it's bouncing off the 200 and it's kind of bouncing in between the trend line and the 200 in this zone here, and also the 200. This is our area of interest, previous interest from yesterday, and you can see again how it's respecting it. So if you put these areas of interest on, these pivots, these manual pivots that we look at to see where price may well go to, and it respects it, again, it just gives you additional confirmation that what you're doing is right, and you can then lean on your own decisions. And that's a big difference, because what happens when you first learn trading is you lean on your educator, or you lean on the person that's trying to teach you, or you lean on the indicator, you know, and you can put too much weight reliant on other things rather than putting the whole scenario together and building up your confidence and your trust in what you do. So this is GBP AUD. So in terms of where we are, we're in a wave down. Okay, the PSAR is red. I've got the wave down here. The volume is pretty low still. The explosion line is moving away from the dead zone. Remember, this is high impact news that's just happened, so we're going to be still getting the backwash of the news. Moving averages, we've got the 5, the 13, the 62 and the 200, so they're in order. Not well, I suppose the 62 looks like it could be pointing in the direction of a trade, of the trend. Let's just measure this. Here from about there. Yeah, we need 5.8 pips. Just looking if it did go in reverse, come down. Looking at this area of interest here, it's only 5.8 pips away, and possibly further. We could possibly get something further, but right now it's not ready yet. So in terms of a stop loss, if you were to look at this, I mean, there's your engulfing, okay, great, but that's way too tight for a stop loss, way too tight, 2.4 pips. So if we took it to our classic 7 pips, where does that take us? That takes us to this engulfing candle here, which is pretty much just above it. That's kind of where I'll take it if I was going to look at this. And again, it's not a case of I'm taking this trade. It's a case of let's just have a look at the price. You know, it's like, this is like looking at a property and having your first viewing on a property, and you go, okay, how much do you want for it? And you go, we want $50,000. Okay, how much is it going to cost me to do it up? And how much is it going to be? How much is it worth? Or what's the actual value? Okay, and look at this. See there, you've got that lower low to the body, and it takes us to here. Okay, well we want this much, and it's like saying, well your house is worth 75 grand done up, but it's going to cost you 30 grand to do it. Okay, so that's where we are. So we've got this anomaly here. Okay, so there's you're going to need too much for the house to make any profit, and this is the way I see this. Okay, now if our 1 to 2 ratio, yes, we could bring the stop loss down, but that makes it a little bit ridiculous. It's a bit like trying to do all the work yourself. Okay, you're going to burn yourself out, and you're going to end up getting stopped out. All right, so we've got to make sure the numbers work for us, and these numbers are a little bit too far away currently. Let's go look on the 15 minute. So on the 15 minute, what have we got? See, look, that even, I mean, even I wouldn't even, yeah, you've got the pivot from yesterday, which is kind of where price is now. And where's the next low? Okay, the next lows are over here. So we look at this, okay, and go, okay, what have we got? So look. So we look at these areas here, okay. So if we put our line on, so there you go, look at that. Touched it there, touched it around here, touched it there, touched it there. That's a nice area of interest for us. So if we went back onto the 2 minutes, there we go, look. It's kind of right in the middle of our take profit. So this isn't really a trade that you want to be considering, because price is just a bit naff. like the volume is low. Still it's low. We might see a bit of a spike at 8 o'clock, but yeah, let's move on. So what time was this? This was 6:50. So there's our low here, okay, which again, it's the same scenario. We're looking at being too optimistic and taking profits on a 1 to 2, okay. Then we've got this area here, okay, which is the next area of interest, and that takes us kind of well within. But at the same time, you know, looking at the what are low volume, you know, so again, it's not a great trade. And why bother yourself getting in trades just because they're trades? Okay, who cares? Okay, do you want to be looking at this and, you know, hoping it's going to come down, or do you want to be in a trade and walk away knowing it's confidently a great trade and you can get in and just leave it and walk away and it'll do its thing, and you can come back, have a look at your phone, and it'll say, yeah, well done, it's a winner, 13.6 pips. Or constantly on your phone going, where's it going? Okay, I'm gonna come out of it because I'm in profit, but I'm gonna cash out because hey, profit's profit, right? Yeah, it is, and the brokers love people like that. Okay, because all you're doing is giving money to the broker. Don't want to be doing it. Right, so let's have a look around. GA, sideways, rotation, sideways. Look at that. I mean, that's, yeah. Had a bit of a push here. This is the start of the session. This is 2200 last night, or just gone 2200. Nice push. Usually you get a push around sort of about 2 AM, 3 AM. So if you look at this, this is yeah, it's changed again. Like 2 AM, you normally see big pushes. This is like just a lethargic kind of, and this is 1 o'clock in the morning. Came down, so we're in a downtrend. Then we had this correction, and then we just got this sideways movement. Same with GN. Right, so what we're going to do, because nothing's really happening right now, and I think we're going to get a similar scenario to what we had yesterday, where 8 o'clock everything kind of happens and we get some big moves. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to make another coffee, and I'll come back and see what's going to happen a bit later. Bear with us. Alright, we're back. It's 10 past 8 in the morning, and I just thought I'd bring you some more information, because usually 8 o'clock is when sometimes the markets warm up to a point where we're going to see some action. So here we've got Euro AUD, and as I said, we got into this trade. We went to the second engulfing candle. Okay, it just about touched the, almost took us out, okay, and then it went down to this area here, okay. And as I said before on the previous, on the earlier session, okay, these are the lower lows, okay, and this is what you want to be doing when it comes to those areas of interest. And if your areas of interest are too high, i.e. if you're being too ambitious with your profits, then it's never going to work, okay. Like I said, it's always like buying a property at the wrong price, okay. You've got to try and get the best price for it, but you know, there's only a certain limit on how much you can get. So, and that's what happened here. Okay, so again, if you were to take trades like this, it's not a great trade, but you know, there's nothing wrong in monitoring the trade. But if you know that this area here is going to be a significant area of interest, and look at what price did, it kind of respected it, and it went down to this area of interest here. So long as you know what's going to happen potentially, you can kind of babysit the trade and then just get out manually, rather than leaving it, if you're in a position to do that, because I know a lot of people aren't, because you're working. So it goes back to the default of, we'll only take great trades then. Okay, so what's happening right now with price is price has gone above the green trend line. We're approaching the 200 moving average, and again we just do the same routine, whereby we wait until price goes above the 200 moving average. We have a look left, we find out what previous price action has done, and we make an assessment as to whether we get in a trade or whether there's enough legs in it to really bother. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing. So Euro NZD, similar scenario there. It's currently on the green trend line. It's gone through the pivot, okay, which is encouraging, because the pivot is quite a heavy area of resistance. And as you can see, the price is now shooting up past this green trend line. And if we look left, okay, what have we got? Okay, we've got these different highs, but look at the way price action is moving, and it's still in resistance. So this isn't a point where you get in. This isn't a point where you think, okay, price has gone above the green trend line, let's get in quick, okay, because it's still in resistance. It's still dragging its feet. It's still touching that line. In fact, it's dragging through it. So I've got another minute left on this timeline, on this time frame, and we've got where the price is right now. If you look at the crosshairs, you look at this, okay, it's currently at a high, okay, from there, and the next high is around sort of this area here, but like I say, it's still in resistance, so we need to just be mindful of that as well. Right, so let's come back, and that's 20 seconds left on there. Price approaching the 200 on the pound Australian, that's doing that, and GN price has gone above the green line. It's currently at a pivot line, so again it's going to be resisting from that area there, and then we have to make an assessment based on what's going to happen. And also there, see, look, it's kind of almost touched it, and we've got some crosses through that area of interest there, so we've got to make an assessment based on price and what could potentially happen. So let's have a quick look at the NZD. Okay, so there's an area of interest, and it's going up. So if we were to get into this trade, we could do a long on this, but again, it's all right. Okay, so it's, yeah, okay, 7.9 pips to this area here. However, remember what happened last time, where we got in a little bit too early, and then it retraced back down to there, and it's still in resistance, and it goes to the downside. Excuse me. However, we are currently above the pivot line, which is always encouraging, and we're above the green trend line. The Wadar is showing us that there is some good price movement here. The explosion line is moving away from the dead zone, and we've got some nice movement there on the histogram as well. So if we went for a 1 to 2, no, we don't want to be doing that. If we went for a 1 to 2, where would we be going? Okay, so a 1 to 2 takes us to there. Okay, where does that take us? Okay, well here we've got a load of imbalance. Okay, so that could be quite encouraging if we get past this area here. Yeah, so if we did this, look, around there, I thought I'll pull that down a little bit to here. Okay, so this area here is a significant area of interest. Okay, so there we go. So you've got to look at that and think, okay, did you get in too early because price went above? Okay, is it now gone above there and it's created a gap between that and the green trend line, and is it moving away? Well, no, it's not moving away, it's going back to it. Okay, so yeah, you've got to be patient in these situations. Okay, because this could quite easily just stop us out, and that's what happens sometimes on days like this, where you've got low volume, yes, you can get stopped out, but that's just the name of the game. And if you do get stopped out, okay, the big takeaway is to go, okay, why did I get stopped out? What was my psychology at the time? What was I thinking at the time? Okay, did I get in too early, or did I just misjudge the market? What's the situation? Okay, and you can see there, look, see how it's just right. I think that's just about taking that. Yeah, that's taking that trade out now. Okay, but again, if you're looking at stop losses and you're getting stopped out, you'll learn more when you lose. Okay, and you'll definitely learn more if you're doing it on real money. Okay, and then you really start to look at and investigate, where did the stop loss? Where was the stop loss? Why did I put the stop loss there? And what was I thinking at the time? Okay, and like I say, even though it was in resistance and it pushed above, okay, exactly the same thing happened on the previous pair, where it came back into resistance and then down to the downside. So again, you've got to be fairly patient. Right, let's have a scout through these. But again, there's not a great lot. I mean, it's like 8.17 now. So right, euro odd. All right, resisting on the 200 moving average. Again, coming back down as the previous one is. Euro NZD. Resistance on the green trend line, and then coming back down for the downside, probably approaching the pivot. Okay, GA, similar sort of scenario. It went above the green trend line, went up to the 200 moving average, started to retrace, and GN. Above the green trend line, pushed above and came back down again. So it's the same scenario from all. So what do we do? Well, in this situation, to be quite honest, we wouldn't really have bothered getting into anything because there's no volume. Okay, it's always good to put those what do you call them? These the risk to reward. But to put those on the chart to find out where price may well go. Okay, and also to practice going on to it. Even if you don't take the trade, it's always good to find out, okay, let's see what happened. Did I put my stop loss in the right place? Was I correct to put it there? Okay, it's tight. Okay, it's extremely tight, but and sometimes what you've got to do as well is if you do these on demo, then your broker will react in the same way. So what they'll do is they'll look at your stop loss, okay, but they'll also factor in the broker spread, and they may well take you out of that. So you could have got stopped out of that as well. Okay, so you look at like 7 pips and you look at where that was, where we took the stop loss to, and you go, okay, where's the next area? Is there a better zone to put that in? Okay, but then by the same token, you've got to say, well, can you still get a 2-to-1 ratio out of that? And from this one, there wasn't, because there wasn't enough legs in it. Okay, so this is what you've got to be looking at all the time. Winning trades is great, okay, but it's more important to know why a trade won or why a trade lost. Okay, and you can sometimes get into these trades and go, well, it's not a great trade and I know price will probably go up to there, but I'll go into it anyway because I can make some pips. And if you can rationalize your judgment because you understand how to trade, then that's the best way to do it. If you're just taking trades on blind faith, then you need to learn the process, okay, and you need to really understand what's happening, and that comes, you will definitely get there. It comes with time, okay, and rather than get emotionally involved, that's what I used to do. I used to lose a trade and then just take off all these I should take all these off and go, that's it, rubbish, okay, I'm no good at trading. Okay, but you know, if you do that, it's just self-destructive, and you're never going to make any real momentum in terms of your trading career. So have a look. Why did price go there? Why did price end up there? And if you look to left, like we always do, if you look left, you'll find out the story. Okay, why did price go down to there? What was the scenario? Okay, well, let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Look, this area here, which I mentioned before in the session. And I said it'll probably come down to there. Okay, so we've got to babysit this trade and either consider getting out of the trade or either not getting in the trade at all if we're not going to get a 2-to-1 ratio. And that's what a lot of scalpers do. If you're in a position where you can sit and monitor your trades, okay, if you've got a day off work, or if you're doing shift work, or let's say you trade full time, okay, then you're in a good position to watch that and then go, okay, it came down to here, it started to retrace, let's get out the trade. And if we did that, we'd have gone, okay, let's have a look. We'll make 11 pips. We won't quite make a 1 to 2, but we'll make some decent money. Okay, so based on that, you can work out how much you would make based on your account and lot size. Right, okay, so I'm going to call it a day, and we're back at 1 o'clock for Crossfire at 1 p.m. So if you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and if you get some, so hit the subscribe and like as well. I really appreciate that, and we'll see you at 1 o'clock. Bye for now.